It's great to be here on Vitra campus in Weil am Rhein, near the French and the Swiss border. And we're here in the Visplay showroom. Thanks, Christian, for hosting us here.
Welcome.
And I'd like to talk to you about retail trends, but also about office trends. But let's start with Visplay first. Can you tell us a bit about what Visplay does and what Visplay is all about?
Thank you. Yeah, Visplay is developing systems and products for decades. The products you can see also in the showroom, can be used at the wall, at mid-floors, at ceilings, and all of them are electrified.
So you're developing basically the backbone of stores.
Exactly, and we don't only, we not only offer, systems and products, we offer solutions at the end. So because every customer has his own needs, and our products, they can be, configured to the needs of a customer, also what his vision is, and we can help him along with that, with technical engineering, also with the kind of products to make his vision real.
Talking about solutions, you're working with the biggest brands and retailers in the world on their latest store concepts. Can you give us some insights on what they are talking about, what they are currently seeking for their new store concepts?
Mm-hmm. Most of the time they're talking about and they're looking for flexibility, because nowadays it's very difficult to prospect the next 5 years or 10 years, which was maybe easier a few years ago. So always the situation we have around COVID, everybody is a little bit shaked through. So they're looking for flexibility and not to have a, fixed assembly on site. So the kind of pop-up character is more and more important. Flexibility, but also to shrink down or to increase, for example, access or different sizes of modules and furniture. So that's something that customers are looking for, to be a bit more independent on changes, what might happen. And also to change, for example, the furniture to different locations.
So it's not only fast fashion, but it's also fast store design then.
Sometimes, yeah. And even if it comes, especially when it comes down to pop-up or to, a location which will be played with for a few weeks or months, and to look and to find out if the location would work for them. So that sometimes very fast. It's not only fast fashion, of course, it's fast assembly is very important, easy to assemble so that everybody can assemble the products. And that's something which is one of our credos. It has to be easy to do business with us, but also with our products in the store.
That's very interesting, especially in the current COVID situation. And when we visited the Zara flagship store in Barcelona last week, we had the impression that they took out some of their mid-floor fixtures to give people more space to move around, to keep the safe distance. And I think it's this kind of flexibility you're talking about. Can you give us some other examples where retailers apply the flexibility?
Absolutely. Flexibility is very, very often requested, and also, like you mentioned now with COVID, but also before. But also there, for example, the products can be disassembled easily. They can be adapted to different sizes of the store, so it could be bigger or smaller. Or with our, multi-lane, which you see also here in the store, which is in the showroom, which is a ceiling rail system. And there we can also change the walls. You can put them down. You can make the space bigger and smaller. And therefore, for example, also nice and interesting ideas. We were able to be part of it. For example, some centers. They rented out their stores furnished already. So they have to have a high flexibility on the store design. So the products can be reconfigured, like Macerich in the US, or for example, Value Retail in Germany and other countries. They have centers using this kind of system to be very flexible for the needs of the customer, which comes in there for normally, 3 to 6 months in that kind of in the environment. And afterwards, they decide to stay there to a better location, or they move out for a different location.
So it's almost like a store as a service or furnished apartment approach to shop fitting.
Exactly, it's also kind of the investment that, for example, a brand doesn't have to invest a complete store. He's renting out that for a couple of months. So if it doesn't work, he goes out and that's it. If it works, he can stay in a different location and he buys some products or he put his own design in. So there are different possibilities for these kind of brands using that space.
So you said flexibility is really, really important to retailers. But when we talk about digital, we see that oftentimes this flexibility goes away when you put in screens, because screens usually are screwed to the wall at a fixed position, and then you kind of lose all the nice flexibility you have with the system, because you have screen plug screwed to the wall or a power plug that sits in the floor. So what's your take on integrating digital into your systems?
Yeah, so this integration of digital is, for example, you can see that every of our products are electrified. So they run with 24 volts, or the ceiling system is 230 volts. So you can, wherever you want, you can put in the screen, you can take, you can put it in the rail, in the plug, in the ceiling, you get it electrified. If you want to change it, you have to unplug it, go to a different area and put it in again, and it works. So there's no screw behind. So because if you screw in a wall and you unscrew it, the wall looks not the same like before. So you have to change the wall as well. So that's something which is a part of our credo, to have a flexible system, and also to, let's say, to get it kind of digitalization inside of the system, but as well as that it gets easy assembled on site, and that we have also the certificates for all of these things like UL approval, CE approval, and whatever you need to use the system in different locations and countries.
And as you're providing power, you can't only plug in displays, but you can plug in all sorts of devices, sensors, IoT devices that would just plug into your systems and get power from there, right?
Absolutely. So what we can also see in the showroom, we have some, like you mentioned, some sensors and cameras in, so we can also have the kind of retail analytics here, so we can see how many people were in which area, how long, and what did they purchase at the end of the day. And next to that, we can also run all of the kinds like tablets or smartphones or LED lighting or ESL, electronic shelf labels, everything which runs less than 24 volts, or if you need more, then you use the multi-lane system, which has 230 volts. So everything can be run with that kind of system.
Yeah, one very nice example of that can be seen in London, the Adidas flagship store in London there. They are also using your systems, I think other sports brands as well.
Exactly.
But that one really proves that the whole system is fully flexible. We saw it one day configured in as a court environment, and the next day it was all merchandised for the new collection.
Absolutely, this example is very good, but also JD Sports, for example, did a store now in Perth, Australia, using the flexible systems, or even also some other segments, not only in the retail or in the office, which you mentioned at the beginning of that conversation. It's also, let's say, for example, hotel. We did recently a nice hotel in Berlin, the Aletto Hotel, where we delivered really the multi-lane, so they can really flexible put their breakfast room bigger, smaller, or they have, for example, an event, so they put everything away from the ceiling and they have a big space. Of course, at the moment they have also to keep the 1.5 meter distance in Germany, but later on they are able to change that room whenever they want. Or for Fissmann, which is a German company also based, where we did the whole restaurant area and the kind of office. So they have movable walls, they have tables which are hanging in the multi-lane, so very flexible to put everything away. So if they need a big space for a big speech from the management to the people which are employed there, they can put everything away and have that kind of speech, and afterwards they put everything back. So there's the canteen or the restaurant back for the employees for the next lunch time.
So I learned that the systems aren't only flexible within a store, but they can be used for a wide range of application. And we're going to talk about office applications in a minute.
Okay. Thank you.
Christian, so far we talked a lot about retail solutions you offer at Visplay. But many of the principles we talked about earlier, like flexibility and so on, also are true for office spaces. Can you tell us a bit about your solutions for office spaces?
Yeah, absolutely. The same principle is also used for office spaces. Also, they need a kind of flexibility. So, for example, with one of our products called Multilane, which is a ceiling rail system, we can at everywhere we want, we can take out the 230 volts to run everything what you want with electricity. But also with that kind of system, you can also split rooms in different sizes. You can split them also in different arrangements. You can also hang from the ceiling products. You can also mount something from that ceiling to coming down from that product. And of course, next to that kind of multi-lane system which you use at the wall, we have different solutions like Cubo and Omnio. These are mid-floor units which you can put, like called in the mid-floor, and you can separate different rooms. It's not only for lockers, it's also for shelving, but it's also inside a 24 volt integrated system, electrified, so you can run all of different devices also in that kind of facility.
So it's both, it's a mechanical thing to have actually separation between areas and between rooms, but you can also plug in all sorts of digital devices. I mean, we are talking about digital devices all day.
Yeah.
And the aspect where it's probably most important right now for reopening offices is Huddle Corners. So small, flexible meeting spaces where you can actually have ad hoc meetings with people in the home office. And that's very interesting. Do you have a solution for that as well?
Yeah, exactly. Also with that kind of mentioned systems a few seconds ago, we can also arrange these kind of corners. We can arrange these kind of meeting rooms. We can separate rooms so that, for example, if you need a smaller kind of corners, or if you have maybe, hopefully after COVID-19, there's also room for have a bigger crowd of people there together to have a meeting, or also at least to have an announcement maybe from the management. So you can put all of these kind of mid-floor units as well as wall uprights and hangers. You can put them to one side, and then you have a big room where you can use whatever you want for a meeting, or for having, let's say, a management speech for the people to inform about maybe some things in the company which is going on. So all of these things can be done with these kind of products. So it's very flexible, it's very easy to assemble, and it's also designed to get it assembled but also disassembled. Now you can also, if you want, you can disassemble it to bring it to a different location and assemble it again. So it's very easy for everyone.
So basically you can integrate everything you need for a huddle corner, that is screen, camera, speakers, and microphones. You would be able to integrate that into your system and then move it around flexibly.
Absolutely. Yep. As I told, all of the systems are electrified. So, for example, the ceiling rail system has 230 volts inside. Depends on the different countries, of course. In America, it's a different voltage there. But also the mid-floor units, which we're talking about, like Omnio, Cubo, and all of the other things, are invisible as a wall system, for example. They run with 24 volts. So every of these devices which you were mentioning, they can be run by that kind of system and gets electrified by the system. So there's no need for another plug, there's no need for some cables or for batteries or whatever, which is also a kind of sustainability at the end of the day, because a lot of people have batteries in their devices, and also that can be run directly with the system at the end.
Thank you very much, Christian. This sounds very, very interesting and exciting. And I learned that flexibility, especially in COVID-19 times, is a big asset if you have systems that support flexibility, be it in retail or in office environments. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.